Districts this morning after a three-day conference focused on community engagement and helping them create more equitable access to high-quality education. There was also a huge focus on addressing the mental health of students, and because education matters, Dr. Sean Ginwright gave those gathered a feature presentation on helping Black students achieve by addressing their trauma. He's a professor at Harvard University's Graduate School of Education, and he joins me this morning to explain this potential path to greater success in the classroom. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. California's Black in School Coalition has been trying to get the governor and the state legislature to pay more attention to the fact that 67% of Black students here aren't meeting English language standards and 79% aren't meeting math standards. Now, you work in the area of trauma. How might healing trauma for African American students improve those numbers?
Well, most of our schools in California and across the nation are really focused on the outcomes of academic achievement, but sometimes are not paying attention to the underlying issues that are actually affecting many young people of color, particularly African-American youth. And that's exposure to trauma. Many young people from low-wealth communities and disenfranchised schools are coming to school with various forms of exposure to trauma. Without a really robust response, schools are not able to actually respond to and actually provide the kind of healing supports that are necessary for young people to actually heal from their exposure to trauma. And so we're not going to therapy our way necessarily out of this national crisis. And in California, I hope that the coalitions that are working with schools and teachers and educational leaders around the state are really trying to open up and think more broadly about how to saturate young people's lives with opportunities to be well.
So when you say trauma, is this the whole range? Kids who have witnessed and confronted physical violence in their neighborhoods, maybe as well as the microaggressions some may be exposed to as a result of racial bias? Or what does your definition of trauma include? And then you said we're not going to therapy our way out of it. So if it's not therapy, what happens in the school building to get kids past that?
Sure. It's, when we think about trauma, we oftentimes think about acute exposure to trauma, single events that actually disrupt normal level of functioning. But the reality is that there are stressors of racism, there's stressors of poverty, there's stressors from various forms of inequality that actually create various forms of trauma for young people in schools. Just witnessing and looking at police officers and having negative experience with police officers, or even sometimes school police officers, sometimes create traumatic responses for young people. The level and depth of the exposure to trauma for Black young people around this country, and particularly in California, means that we are not going to hire and train enough therapists, particularly culturally competent therapists, to respond to this crisis. So that means we have to democratize, we have to open up access for our opportunities for young people to experience well-being. That means we have to train teachers, we have to train barbers, we have to train coaches, we have to train every adult in young people's lives that come into contact with young people with opportunities to have conversations about well-being. We need to make well-being just as common as PE in schools. And in order to do that, we have to really open up our way to think differently about exposure to trauma. The way that we think about mental health now is that you have to be broken to get healing supports. But if we think about physical education and PE, all you need to do, we think of it as a strength and an asset. And so I hope that we can really just shift that, right, and actually get opportunities to see our access to mental health and well-being as an asset as opposed to a liability in schools.
All righty, Doctor, we're going to have to put a pin in it right there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And those are the marching orders you've given all those superintendents and school board members. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.